It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, you beauties. Yep, while life is a little bit crazy on the planet, we thought let's take you off it to the closest orbiting body that we've got, the moon. We love the fact that we have a moment now to take stock. And can you believe it's been over 50 years since humans last set foot on the moon? Imagine the amount of technology that's been developed since then. Well, NASA is now preparing to send astronauts back onto our lunar neighbor in 2025. That's next year, marking a very exciting new chapter in space exploration. I have a feeling just the first step of many to come, and we're thrilled to welcome back one of our favorites, Dr. Daniel Cunnama, the science engagement astronomer from the South African Astronomical Observatory, a very busy man who's taken a time out to discuss some of the latest lunar discoveries and the future of moon missions. Why do we want to get back to the moon? Dan, first of all, let me shake your hand.
Feels like it's been 50 years.
Just about, my friend, just about. But I know you're not a conspiracy because I've seen you on the couch before. Have we even actually been to the moon? Now, it does beg the question, 50 years, with the amount of technology that we have and this interest in space exploration, and even just how easy it would be to launch a rocket to Mars from the moon, why haven't we done this earlier? Why such a gap, do you think?
Yeah, I think it's mainly comes down to budget and priorities, right?
Priorities.
You know, the space race in the 60s was huge. Everyone wanted to get to the moon. They wanted to beat the Russians. And as soon as that happened, the public decided, wait, what? Why are we doing this?
At this cost.
Yeah, at this cost. So the world's changed a little bit now. As you said, the technology's got a huge amount better. We can do this a little bit easier. It's still not easy launching rockets.
Yeah.
But there's renewed interest by America, different countries, China, India, and then also private enterprises trying to get back to the moon. So
because there's other rocks floating around that need to be mined, and I have a feeling commercial is probably going to drive us more than even politics will drive us into space over the next era. Artemis is here. So which iteration are we? So we've got Artemis 2 and Artemis 3. Have we moved past Artemis yet?
So Artemis is essentially the twin sister of Apollo. So
Lovely.
We had the Apollo missions. They got us to the moon the first time, and then Artemis is taking us this time. Artemis 1 launched in 2022, and that was just taking astronauts into space, bringing them back down.
Have a look
safely.
around. Let's go back.
And then Artemis 2 will go next year, and that'll take them to the moon, wave at the moon, and come home. They won't be landing. And then the following year in 26, we aim to land people on the moon again.
And that's very exciting, and it's going to be very different to the first moon landing when you think about the difference of technology, i.e. the fact that that spaceship and the calculator we now use probably have the same amount of computing power, which is mind-blowing. It's a nod to the scientists and the bravery of the men and the women that took us there the first time, undoubtedly. We've been there. We haven't been wasting the time since, though. China obviously got some samples from the dark side of the moon. Were they different? Were they eternally dark? Why was this such a big thing?
Well, we'll find out if they're different soon. But the reason this is a big thing is because of this advance in technology, right? So this time we're going to go to the moon. We don't want to just pick up a few rocks to look at. We want to be able to stay there. So the first thing we need is water. So we're looking in the rocks to see whether we can find water.
Hydrogen.
We know there's water on the moon in the form of ice. So how much is there, and is it enough for us to survive on? And then one of the really, really cool things is they're looking at the dust, the moon dust, to see whether they can use it for 3D printing.
Ooh.
Because if you send a 3D printer there and you can use moon dust, you can start making things.
Matt Damon for what?
I know, right?
Sorted. And I'm just watching the first two astronauts clinking their glasses together with a little bit of ice from their ice machine. I love that because I love sci-fi, and I love the fact that there is like a general interest in sci-fi and where we're going. And I think we often forget that first we create with the imagination, then we achieve with our actual brains and scientific capability. But there has been this line about, okay, if we need to get to Mars, we need to somehow get off the planet. And getting off the planet because of the gravity is difficult. The moon, not so much. Is that the thing? Why is having a lunar base, when we look at Mars and further space exploration, why is that such an important step?
Yeah, certainly. And getting to the moon is a good step in terms of future explorations. As you said, it's easier to get on and off the moon, but also just a huge, and very easy kind of visit for us. So
yeah.
we want to practice our landings, we want to practice our rockets, we want to make sure everything's working properly, and the moon is a couple of days away. Whereas if we want to sort of go to Mars, it's months away. So we can't do that so often. But then, you know, we do want to be able to resupply there, have a permanent base, as I said, and then from there stage missions further afield.
I'm just waiting for the first person to start importing ice from the moon now. The wheels are starting to turn. A very exciting time for astronomy. And of course, on Earth, a very exciting time. In Cape Town, some exciting things happening. Please fill us in. What's happening within the astronomy world?
Absolutely. So in the next few weeks, so beginning of August in Cape Town, we'll be hosting what is called the International Astronomical Union General Assembly, which is like the World Cup of astronomy. So
The Space Force.
happens every 3 years. All the biggest names in astronomy come to one place. We're hosting it here in Cape Town, and there's going to be a huge public program too. So we've got astronauts coming, we've got Nobel Prize winners coming. There's going to be a huge number of public events which you can get involved in. So go look it up, astronomy2024.org, and yeah, get involved.
For once, Daniel's not going to be the only smart guy in the room. He's going to have all his mates with him. I absolutely love that. If ever there was a time to get into astronomy, if ever there was a time to start learning and I think open this world, this other reality to your children, this is it. So please stay up to date. We'll send you to Dr. Dan's social medias and we'll keep up all of our information on our social media. But please use this opportunity to embrace clearly a very exciting time in space exploration is about to begin.